A beautiful morning to you and welcome to the newspaper review right here at Premier TV. I'm Ayo, bringing you the newspaper review. And coming up, Tinubu's government threatens workers who join labor strikes with jail term. Strike continues pending NLC meeting with FG. Aisha Yesufu, an activist, refused to stand up to sing the Nigerian reverted anthem. Why Nigerians revert to the old anthem explained, and then to the last story to be reviewed with you today. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu explains his reason for reverting to the should it be new? Yes, old national anthem. So this is the conversation today. But before going to all that we have, let's go on a quick break. As soon as we get back, we're going to the show. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the show. Now let's see the first story. Tinubu's government threatens workers who join labor strike with jail terms. Now let's see the news in details. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, issued this warning in a statement on Sunday. Fagbemi pointed out that according to Section 18 of the Trade Dispute Act, employees in essential services must give their employer 15 days notice before stopping work. Failure to adhere to this requirement could result in a fine or a 6-month imprisonment upon conviction. Now, he emphasized the critical significance of giving a 15-day notice, highlighting that failure to comply is considered a criminal offense according to Section 41 and 42 of the Act. He pointed out that the federal government has been discussing with stakeholders through a tripartite committee to establish a new national minimum wage and has not formally concluded negotiation. So this is the conversation. And joining me to analyze this session is my co-host, Person of Treasure Unwachuku, to have this robust conversation with you. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So what do you think of what the Attorney General said on Sunday prior to this commencement of strike by the NLC? Because according to the Section 18 of the Trade Union Act, which it was rightly stated that workers cannot go on strike unless they observe the dispute settlement procedures. If at the end of the process, the award, then by virtue of a secondary that we have in this country is our judiciary. So why wait for all of these processes before you arrive at a conclusion of something that you can just come about it? And for the fact that NLC has given 30 days notice before now. I mean, at the beginning of, on May Day, they said it. They emphasized the fact that if the federal government doesn't do anything, and that is over 15 days.
More than 15 days.
More than 15 days. So I would like to hear your thoughts on this story.
Okay, you see, I've always known this. Remember every segment of the law when it has to do with the people.
Of course.
And that is why I'm not surprised that what we are hearing from the federal government is coming. Okay, talking about the judiciary in this country, I don't know, should I say they've lost their rights or they've sold their rights? All right, because we all know that sometimes we see the judiciary pass a decree on a matter, and our leaders will fail to comply. So if you want to go by judiciary, I would say that judiciary of this nation are not helping matters. All right, because they don't maintain their ground. Imagine the judiciary, even the High Court, the Federal High Court, the Supreme Court, can pass, their judgment on a matter, and it will not be carried out. So how much more an order from a court that is not even from the Supreme Court. All right. So the judiciaries in this country, they are not helping matter. Now, on the other hand, you already stated it that the notice is even more than 15 days. All right, because we all can remember that on May 1st, they started this notice. So it means that the federal government are not taking these people serious. And I believe that it's even against the law for their request for the interest of the masses not to be taken serious. On the other hand, the government are equally not obeying the law because what the NLC, their request is not against the constitution.
Exactly.
All right, so it's constitutional. And okay, now, they say 15 days. How many days did it take the House of Rep or to pass the law of the new anthem? 48 hours. 48 hours this meeting was held without the consideration of the interest of the people, and it was passed into law. Why is it? Why are they finding it difficult to have a review of what is going on? Something that has to do with the people they are leading. So to me, I feel that the threats is just somebody yesterday. We had a video yesterday where somebody was calling Nigerians coward. The threat to me, I don't see it as something that can stand if Nigeria, because they are not fighting against, they are fighting a just cause. All right. What they are clamoring for is something that is glaring. They can see it that transportation has increased based on the current cost of fuel in Nigeria. They know that the electricity tariff people are paying. Now, their law is affecting everybody, both non-governmental workers. Everybody that lives in a house will pay the current tariff. All right. Every Nigerian are suffering the effects of the current cost of fuel in Nigeria. All right. So how come they are finding it difficult to do things about things that is affecting the masses? Right. So I feel they are just using that to make the people, to put fear in the people. All right, because they are fighting a just cause. As far as to the best of my knowledge, they are fighting a just cause.
All right. You see, I really cannot blame the judiciary. After all, they are benefactors of this administration.
Administration, so they won't
You
say
know,
anything.
in the Tinubu's 1 year in office, the judiciary's salary has been increased.
See, I was going to talk about that. Was there meetings for the salary of the judiciary to be increased? Was there meeting? As in, was there meetings upon meetings for? So you just nailed it. They cannot say anything otherwise because they are benefiting from the policies or from this administration. So there is no how people of such can even speak for the good of the people. They are not in better position because they cannot they cannot speak against an administration that is favoring them.
Yeah, exactly.
So they are not fighting for the benefit of the people. NLC are the one fighting for the benefit of the people.
Exactly. So for the fact that they are enjoying the benefit from this administration, earlier in the Tinubu's administration, their salary was increased. I mean, the president of the Court of Appeal is to be receiving 64. I want to be sure of the amount. 62.4 million naira annually in a year.
Imagine.
So why won't you support an administration like this? And for the fact that these people I think they follow the due process according to the act that they are even making reference to. These people gave even more than 15 days notice prior to this time.
I want to. Sorry to cut you. I want to. Because I had to go through to do some calculation about what the federal government is proposing to their workers. It's covered by going by calculation. The 60,000 they are proposing, if you calculate, if you divide it by 26 working days, it's not even up to 2,005 for a day. For a day. And just imagine how much somebody has to pay for transportation alone to work in a day, to and fro. The person will eat. There are other miscellaneouses. You are using phone, you buy recharge card, and all that. And you are proposing to pay something that cannot even transport the person to work in a day. It's not good. It's not good.
And I think Nigerians are no longer cowards. Usually when you hear threats like this, Nigerians would
Like,
train students union in schools. They are in support of the strike because they know the after effect on them.
sure.
So virtually everybody is in support of this. So I wonder why the chief justice, the attorney general of the federation, is
You
bringing
know, you know,
about
if
jail terms
if
as a
if
threat.
the if he could tag people, crying for a better governance as criminals, then what do we call those that loot money that are meant to be taking care of the federation? We have had politicians, our leaders, who loot in billions. As a matter of fact, one of them came out to say that million and billions should not be counted as an offense. All right. So if they could have if we really have a law in the constitution that deals with criminality, what has been happening to these people, that you don't have the confidence, the boldness to call people that are just asking for a cut down on things that is affecting the people. You link it to criminality. I don't think that man knows what he's saying.
Exactly. So we are moving on to the next story. Still on the conversation around the minimum wage. Strike continues pending Tuesday review meeting with NLC and the federal government. The Nigerian Labour Congress has disclosed that the ongoing nationwide strike will continue despite the agreement signed with the federal government at Monday's meeting. The Congress, in a post on X on Tuesday, said the industrial action, which has grounded the nation's economy, will continue until Tuesday's meeting of organs of the union, where all resolutions on Monday's meeting are expected to be reviewed. I quote, until we hear from our organs at our meeting scheduled for today, June 4th, we are still on strike. End of quote, the Post read. The Punch reports that after a 6-hour meeting with the leadership of the organized labor in Abuja, the federal government expressed the commitment of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to raising the 60,000 naira offered as the minimum wage. Now, the first question that comes to mind is to raising it to what amount? I was listening to a conversation around this minimum wage, and someone, okay, no, it was on X. One of the allies of this administration, Reno Mokri, was saying that what NLC are proposing is not visible. Practically everyone has said that, and he was saying they should be considering something like 80,000 naira. And from your own calculation earlier, 60,000 naira in a day, they are spending less than 3,000 naira. So that means if
They are
they should be
earning less
getting,
than.
they are earning less in a day.
Yes.
They are earning less than 2,000 naira in a day. This is equivalent to about the amount some people are earning per hour in some other advanced countries.
Someone
So let's have this conversation.
someone there's this call from conversation with someone from one of the country, I think Holland, and he said that there per hour, that the minimum wage in that place is about 1,600 euros minimum wage. That is the no 1,800. He said some people pay 1,500, but some people pay the minimum is 1,800
That's per month.
per month
In a month, that's a total of 2.5 million naira in
for
Nigerian
minimum.
currency.
When you talk
Minimum.
about minimum, of course, that is the least amount
The
you can
least,
pay.
yeah.
All right. And now, when you get to places like that, they earn per hour. Of course, they don't have toxic working
Environment.
environment. All right. They are not stressed the way we are stressed here in Nigeria. Just imagine we in Lagos, the traffic we sometimes you have to resume by 8, but you have to leave your home by 4 a.m. All
Because
right.
of traffic,
Because of traffic.
you're jeopardizing your
All
health in
right.
the
Sometimes some
process.
people don't get to relate to their children because of work. You leave by 4 a.m., you come back by 10 p.m. just because of traffic. And at the end, nothing to show for this thing. You get it? Now, somebody is saying, imagine these people they are not working for the people. I think this democracy is not for the people. It's not a government for the
Exactly.
people. On a more serious note, I'm being emphatic. This government, this administration is not a democracy for the people because the people are not benefiting from them. Okay, imagine somebody who is in this country who is a representative of the people, who knows how much fuel is. Everybody goes to market. If you don't go, your wife will go to the market. No, everybody feed in Nigeria. Nobody will argue the fact that the price of things has skyrocketed, and we all know that this amount they are proposing is not able to feed one person. As a matter of fact, it has not taken care of transportation, and they keep on. Okay, now somebody says something. If you, some of the vehicle these people are using, these our leaders are using, their tires alone, if you calculate the cost of their tires, it can take care of this thing we are talking about.
Of course.
On a more serious note, now the maintenance for the aircraft in Aso Rock, if you calculate the luxury of one of these people, of our leaders, it can take care of this thing. Okay, now, see, the thing is that they are not having the welfare of our people, of Nigerian people in mind. How come instead of looking into the affair, you are threatening a jail? You know, we are giving a jail threat to the people. So I don't feel that. All I want to say is that NLC. Now, there's a story that the federal government have decided to increase from 60 to what? Because when you add 500 naira, it's an increase. Who knows if it is another 3,000, just like they've been topping it. All right. So I think if they are being transparent, there should be clarity on, okay, this is the amount we want to offer, and based on our let them do their own calculation.
Exactly.
This thing they want to offer, what will it be able to take care of for the Nigerian workers?
Okay, the agreement signed between the NLC, the trade union, with the federal government, it's written in part, and it says that they've set a tripartite committee. The tripartite committee currently having this conversation, and they are going to meet every day for the next week to finalize an agreeable national minimum wage.
For what?
Now, are they suggesting now that this meeting every day, now is this to is actually part of the things that came to mind when I NLC should put a stop to the strike while they are like, how is it difficult to just arrive at a conclusion?
What would they be discussing for 1 week? Because this is quite glaring. All right. If Mr. President is not feeling it, they have extended family members. If he doesn't go to market, some of their extended family members, they go to market. Everybody knows what the country is facing now. So what will they be discussing on for 1 week minimum wage increment when these people have analyzed this thing? Okay, now, when they want to carry out I don't want to talk about the implementation of the new national anthem. You see, you were reading the other time. You don't even know whether to call it new or old, right? Because it's confusing. Nigerians were not put in the know; they just pass it into law within 48 hours. Now, when they want to sponsor 90 to use 90 billion to sponsor people to go for is it Hajj or whatever? How many days was meeting held on that thing? How many days? Now, what is so difficult? Are you trying to, okay, now, if the federal government is finding it difficult to come up with something good enough for their workers, what happened to the private sectors? That means after this implementation, there will be loss of loss of job, because if the federal government is finding it difficult to pay their workers well, that means private sectors might not be able to even pay at all. Right, so it's quite annoying, and to me, I feel that NLC haven't embarked on this. It will be foolishness on their side if this act or this move was just in vain. I don't think they should allow themselves to be tricked. If they are saying they should call up the strike, there was a purpose for the strike. We are not just talking about minimum wage. I don't know why they are centering on minimum wage alone. There is electricity tariff inclusive. They are not saying anything about that. Meanwhile, NLC are saying they should bring down the price also. So why are they not talking about that?
Oh, I'm seeing propaganda playing out here. one of the many propagandas of the federal government, because they know that as soon as we are going to have this conversation for the next 1 week, we can't be having this conversation and there is a lot of hiccups going, chaos going on outside. So obviously to the strike, then we have this conversation so activities can go on. But I would love that NLC insist on their stand. For them to insist on their stand will tighten the belt of the federal, of this tripartite committee, to arrive at a reasonable conclusion. And the reasonable conclusion here should come with a breakdown. What this amount you want to offer us, what is the breakdown on your part? And this is also a message to NLC that for the federal government and this committee to be going back and forth on how to reach an agreement on minimum wage, it is a proof that they do not have the welfareism of Nigerian workers at heart.
At all.
Because if at all they have the welfareism of Nigerian workers at heart, they should be able to break it down. The reason why we cannot offer you the amount you are proposing is because this is this and this is that. And they should be able to come up with a reasonable amount. They should go to the market, make
Inquiries.
make inquiries and see what an average Nigerian is going about, how an average Nigerian is, how they are able to survive every day. Now, one of the videos we had yesterday was a woman who said she has a car and she had to park her car at home to transport herself out. This is the reality of most Nigerians now. I was in transit last week and the driver was saying that at every bus stop they pay certain amount of money and he's on installment.
You can witness it.
He has to pay this installmental fee. He has to pay these touts that are requesting for money before he will get home, before he will pay for this responsibility and pay for that responsibility. And obviously, if you are to compare the average money and the minimum amount an average worker is taking home in Nigeria, it is nothing compared to the allowances that is allocated to our senators, our leaders, to an individual. An individual in Nigeria, a senator in Nigeria is going home with nothing less than 20 million naira in a year annually. Now, if you have to have that breakdown, the basic salary of a Nigerian worker is nothing compared to the amount many of our senators are using to fuel their cars. So why is it difficult to pay the people that are doing the real work? Why is it difficult to pay people that are stressing themselves out and looking for how this money will come in? Why is the federal government finding it difficult to pay? You see, most of our senators, they go there, they are supposed to be representing us up there. And you see, their representation is nothing to write home about. So why allocate allowances? Earlier when the Tinubu administration came about with subsidy was gone, allocation was increased for state governors. And it is these same state governors that are not present at the committee where they want to deliberate on the minimum wage.
Because they're not taking the people serious.
Exactly.
They feel, okay, we had a video last time where they were in a meeting and somebody was talking about how I don't know how I wish we could have that video again, where the woman was saying, what is the essence of celebrating democracy when the people are not enjoying the impact of democracy? All right. You discovered that the speaker was telling the woman that the benefit of democracy is what has brought you or given you the opportunity to speak. All right. Now, to them, I feel that they are just satisfied so long they are not being affected. But they have forgotten that they are not going to be there forever. They have forgotten that there is aspiration to their years in office, whether they like it or not. They have forgotten that they have families. All right, they've forgotten that another government is going to come that may want to review their system while they were in office. Okay, now you are talking about democracy in Nigeria. The people are not. They don't have a say. Sometimes whatever they want to do, they just conclude it and implement it. That means the consent of the people are not being considered. The interests of the people are not being considered. They not till today. There is no analysis on what has been the fuel subsidy is going to be used on. So, and you are saying we are under democracy. So why they could not show up in that meeting is because they don't care. They are not being affected. they feel that once NLC is being frustrated, they will forget about
Exactly.
the
I want
request.
us to quickly look at this breakdown because I'm seeing something playing out here. When you look at the comparing the National Assembly budget together with the Nigerian workers, just look at the breakdown from 1999 to 2024. In 1999, the budget for that year was 2.2
2
billion
billion.
naira. The minimum wage was 3,000 naira.
Hmm.
Okay, let's say things were still very much okay
Very,
then.
very much
In
okay.
2000, 29.5 billion. Minimum wage was 7,500. In 2011, it was 111 billion naira. The minimum wage was 18,000 naira. In 2018, they proposed 139.5 billion naira. The minimum wage was increased to 30,000 naira. That was in the Muhammadu Buhari regime. Since then, in 2019, they proposed 128 billion naira. There is a slight reduction in their proposal, and minimum wage was increased to 30,000. I think this is the only reasonable thing I'm saying here. In 2020, they maintained the same amount. Minimum wage was still on 30,000 naira. In 2021, they increased to 134 billion naira. Minimum wage was still 30,000 naira. Now look at from 2019 to 2024, these people are still living on 30,000 naira. And the national
And minimum wage has on increase
exactly,
yearly.
their own budget is increasing year in, year out. And it brings me to the conclusion that the poor keep getting poorer and the rich keep getting richer. As long as they get up there, they
They
look for
forget about
ways they can enrich themselves and become better. The amount of money that a senator is earning in this country, if they are to divide it among the 200 million people we have in this country, everybody will be able to afford basic things. Every Nigerians will be able to afford basic things. So should we then come to a conclusion that the Nigerian workers are they are nothing before the sight of our government? Most of the people you have up there, like you emphasized on some of the video we looked at on the conversation around democracy, where that woman speaker was saying that the true democracy is in the fact that we are serving the people. These people are not serving the people, but they are serving their pockets. Because you see that the National Assembly budgets keep increasing by the day, and you see them having arguments on budget padding. Till date, we don't know where 1.2 trillion naira is in 2024 budget. Yes, they came about with a supplementary budget. Yet the it is easy for this administration to be talking about supplementary budget, but the Nigerian worker are still looking at 30,000 naira. Yet they've not arrived at a conclusion. So if NLC should yield to what these people are saying, then NLC has failed the Nigerian people.
You see, just like we are saying that NLC, it took them time. This threats for strike has been since last year, right? And now they are at it. I don't think they should go back without achieving the purpose. If they should hearken to the threat, if they should go back for a meeting that should be concluded on in one day to take a whole week. Meanwhile, in this meeting, there are meeting allowance for them.
Of course.
They are going to enjoy meeting allowance per day, and other miscellaneous is on the government. All right. So my note to my counsel to NLC is that if the purpose of this strike is not achieved and they cancel it, they will never be taken serious again under this administration. And I think the reason why the federal government is coming to issue a threat is because many people, just yesterday alone, many sectors joined NLC. And they know that if the strike continues, there is possibility of more sectors to join them.
If NLC doesn't want to continue the strike, some of these things that we are seeing flying around is enough to make NLC continue. Imagine the basic salary of a senator in Nigeria, 2.4 million naira. Hardship allowance.
So that means they know there's
Have
hardship.
you received hardship allowance?
From where now?
That's the conversation. So most of these things will
So
share
they
Nigeria.
actually know that there is hardship in the country.
Exactly.
That is why they are giving themselves
Because of
hardship
their
allowance.
frivolous lifestyles,
Okay,
because of the frivolities they spend on hardship allowance, 10%, that's about 10%, 50% of their basic salary.
salary.
Constituency allowance, that's 200% of their basic salary. Newspaper allowance, how many of our leaders are reading newspaper? Is newspaper not online? Is can't they have access to the e-newspaper? How many of them are truly
This
reading these things that they are allocating
this
allowance to?
administration are
Now let's
sucking
move on to wardrobe allowance. Can't they buy what
clothes
clothes from their
from the
basic
salary.
salary? Have you received wardrobe allowance?
From where?
Exactly. So these are the things that NLC are looking at. How can these people be having this allowance and we are spending our own money? You know, I was listening to a conversation yesterday. One guy, I'm not going to mention names, so it doesn't look like we are making adverts. They said he went to a very popular company in Lagos and he was told that they will be paying him 50%, 50,000 naira as his salary. Now, this 50,000 naira, they know there's going to be tax on it. They intentionally made it so. On other things, like all of these allowances that you can see that these allowances are even much more than, some of them are much more than their basic salary. So it is from this, they tax their their basic salary. Then from the other allowances, they know that they will not have access to it, especially those that they use to cater for their basic needs. They won't pay taxes on them. But look at all of these things. You see, motor vehicle allowance, 400% of basic salary. They
Mm.
won't tax them on this. About 9.9 million naira
Monthly.
annually, monthly. That means annually, our leaders are going home with nothing less than, in a month, they're going home with nothing less than 29.4 million naira. Now, calculate all of this money in a year for the amount that these people are earning year in, year out. Their accommodation, can't they pay for these things?
This thing brings me to the reason why when it is, you know, with all this, we all can see the reason why, we see lots of broad daylight irregularities whenever there is election time, whenever it is election time, because they believe there is a settlement. I don't know. Once they get there, all their problems. I think our government have become like heaven. That once you get there, all your problems are over. Your family members are settled for life. They know even if they don't end it, they don't get in or get the opportunity to come again, they are settled for life. Just imagine, like there is no money in the country. Just imagine we go on borrowing, and these people are, getting this huge sum monthly and annually. So why won't the country keep borrowing? The country will keep borrowing because not because they are borrowing to serve the needs of the people, but just because of their frivolous lifestyle. Okay, now we had a case of this, even though it's not in our story. This case of a coastal highway. We have about over 700 buildings that went down because of this project, and we all know that they are not going to finish that project under this administration. But many people have been rendered homeless. Now we heard about the compensation. How many people will receive the due compensation? All right, so these people are inflicting pain on the people.
Exactly.
They are inflicting pain on the people. This is not actual democracy. This is not what we call democracy, because the people are not benefiting from this government. They are just enriching themselves.
On this note, we are going to end with the fact that if by the time NLC begin to earn 494,000 naira, not only NLC, the Nigerian worker, according to them, they said they will be spending 9 trillion naira annually. If they are to calculate the 23.4 million naira that each of our senators, each of our leaders are earning monthly, multiplied by the number of senators, multiplied by other people that are not mentioned, you see that they are even spending times two of the money NLC is requesting for. So obviously, the money is available. And we hope that NLC will not back down. We hope that NLC will not flop in their agreements. We hope that NLC will remain a voice for the Nigerian people to insist that something must be done beyond their salary, but that the economy be regularized, that the economy becomes stable for even an average worker to be able to afford basic things. Here is the conversation. And moving on to the next story. Aisha Yesufu, an activist, refused to stand up to sing the Nigerians' reverted anthem, and this has further stirred a lot of controversy amongst the Nigerian people. Very quickly, let's see the video. Okay, so this video has stirred a lot of arguments for the fact that Aisha Yesufu is an activist. A lot of Nigerians are saying that the fact remains that even if you don't believe in the changing of the anthem to change Nigeria, it shouldn't stop you from being patriotic as a Nigerian to stand up and recite the national anthem. And on her page, she wrote that this is not my anthem. That was what she wrote. But I would like to get your quick thought on this story.
Uh,
What do you think of her action?
you see, generally, aside the fact that she's an activist, generally Nigerians' reaction to this change has not been, they've not reacted in acceptance of this new item. All right, because first of all, I will say that the process of implementing the new national anthem was not the opinion of the, just like when they wanted to pass to law the, is it the new tax they wanted to pass to law, the cyber security levy. You know, they notified the people. They wanted to see how people will react. They gave it, I think, a 2 weeks notice. All right, but there was nothing of such on the matter of this new art. At least we are the one to be singing this national anthem. All right. So the on that note, I feel that personally, I don't want to say. Let me just say, if not that she is an activist and she is supposed to, by at least by right.
Personally, would you have done the same?
I don't see the reason why we should adopt the slave master's song as an item, because I don't see the old item talk about patriotism. The old the old national item was. Are you trying to say that we cannot, even if we want to have a new one, we cannot have people from Nigeria compose a very good and suitable new national item? Why adopt the slave master's item when we are no longer under slavery? Right? There are so many things around this new national anthem, and we hear our dear president say the change is his priority, which was why he, not minding how Nigerians will react to it, he decided to pass it to law. So in one way, I will not condemn her action, because to me, I feel that we all know that this thing was not done following the due process. Right? It was not done. I think it was based on her knowledge on how the thing was done that made her feel like, I cannot accept this one. Can be a hatemo. You know, you cannot. They say a man can lead a cow to the river, but you can't force the. In as much as they pass it to law, Nigerians have not fully accepted this new national anthem as our national anthem.
No, I can understand Aisha Yusufu's plight. She's after the needs of the people. She's interested in serving the people. And she would always say she's not a politician. She would always say that she's only interested in whatever that would benefit the people. And that is what makes an activist. You know, for the fact that in an average Nigerian home now, you cannot even afford to eat 2 square meal per day. because by the time you are done with calculating the amount you would be spending on this meal, it will take a lot for people to be sane in this country. And according to her, she is of the opinion that what value is the national anthem? What is it adding to the national identity of Nigerians? I mean, a national anthem should command respect by Nigerians in Nigeria and even Nigerians in diaspora. It is something that should motivate. Toby Amuson won a medal recently, and she was singing the national anthem in tears, especially the part that says, the labor of our heroes past shall not be in vain. She was singing it in tears. And according to her, she said this new national anthem is not bringing anything to Nigeria outside the fact that Nigerians will only dance to it. And Nigerians are already...
We should hail the dilapidation of Nigeria economy.
Exactly.
We should hail our leaders looting what the people should be what should be used to take care of the nation. We should hail the system that is enriching our leaders, that they cannot implement, that they do something to increase the minimum wage to something that can make Nigeria workers happy. That we should hail all the abnormalities going on in Nigeria. That is what they are saying. Not that a country that is falling, that is supposed to be to arise, which is what the old national anthem is saying, that Nigeria needs to arise from slumber. Rather, we should hail the falling of Nigeria.
Exactly. And she's also of the opinion that this did not pass through the right consultation. There's no public consent. There's no reason as to the reason why we are diverting to this old, or let's say new old national anthem, whatever it is that we can call it, and it is not adding any economic value. But then the fact remains that there are some professions, like you can't see a lawyer go to an event now where people are there and you're asked to recite the Nigerian national anthem, and you wouldn't want to do that even if you are not in support of it. So it is expected that regardless of how much hatred you have for the new anthem, so even if you are not singing it, the fact remains that you have respect for the national symbol. At least this is the Nigeria that we are all fighting for. I am not going to sing the national anthem because I love the national anthem, but I'm going to obey what it's. I'm going to stand and give respect to it for the fact that it is the Nigeria that I am fighting for. So this is the major concerns of people. But still on this conversation on the new national anthem, we have a video that explains in details what the essence of changing this new national anthem. Very quickly, let's have the video on display, then we look at conversation around it. According to one of the senators, he said this is not the old anthem that we have been singing is not showing true patriotism, according to him. That is not showing true patriotism. That even the labors of our heroes' parts is almost in vain, because you see nationalists who fought for what Nigerians are currently benefiting, and it is looking like most of those fights, most of those wars is now in vain. So let's see the video and we move on with our conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I'm Eja Hababao, Chibok Dambo Goza Federal Constituency, and with the leave of the House, acting chief whip on this city. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I want to commend Professor Julius Ihombere, the famous academician in this country, and at the same time the leader of this 10th Assembly, for bringing in the need for us to change the current way of doing things that is not yielding any positive result. It has been accepted widely, on one hand, scientifically proved to be positive, that if you keep on doing one thing without result, it's an indication of lunacy and it may not lead to success. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, we are all aware that the national anthem we have been singing is not what we have been practicing. as Nigerians. You say, arise, O compatriots. Are we patriots? Who are the compatriots? Are we patriotic? Do we normally place our national interest against our individual interest? All these questions are supposed to be answered in as much as this current national anthem is working. Secondly, to serve our fatherland with love, strength, and faith, none of it happens. None. There is no love in the services we have been providing because our interest first before the interest of the nation. That is why people are even leaving the country to go and show love to other countries of the world, to show their strength, their capacity, their intellectual capacity, their educational pedigree to other countries of the world, thereby leaving Nigeria. And if you ask them, they will tell you they are holding Nigerian passport, they are Nigerians, and they are ready to put their love, strength, and faith in the country. How many of Nigerians have faith in the country? Go and assess. Most Nigerians have lost confidence, have lost faith in the country. You don't need a soothsayer to tell you that people are not happy on their faces. Thirdly, which is the last, the labor of our heroes past should not be in vain. Are they not in vain? My father is a retired Nigerian army. His own pension has not been paid promptly. And you are here telling people that their own effort, their own sacrifices should be taken into cognizance. Just payment of pension. You have not been doing that. Another thing, Section 5 of the Contributory Pension Act is clear that there must be group life insurance cover for each and every employee of Nigeria, and the sum assured must be 3 times total annual emolument of that particular employee. How many civil servants benefit from this immediately after their own death or permanent disability? Lastly, Mr. Speaker, we are all aware that our civil servants contribute their own either 7.5% or any percent agreed as their contributory pension.
All right, he highlighted vital points, but all of these vital points are not enough reasons to even change the national anthem, because
vital.
Obviously we are not even working in alignment with what the old anthem is saying.
There's nothing vital in what that man was saying. There's nothing vital.
He highlighted vital points that we are not practicing. Hold on.
Are we the one not practicing it, or they are the one not practicing
it? Hold on. That's what I'm saying. That we are not practicing what the old anthem is saying. How many of our leaders are truly patriotic? So that's why I said he highlighted vital points, but they are not enough to change the old anthem.
The point he highlighted should be channeled to themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. We are highlighting on the same
thing. He mentioned about his father who served Nigeria and whether pension was not paid. Are the masses the one to pay the pension? These people, they have a way of cooking up stories. It's just like you served me beans and you are making me believe that the beans I am eating, at least I know I'm eating beans. You are making me believe that what I'm eating is noodles. That is what our leaders are doing. Now, they say we are not patriotic. Are they being patriotic? Sometimes, how do they get into office? Sometimes the things they do, there is the allocation for projects that will benefit the people. Do they carry it out? So, and he talked about not being. All I can say is that they will always speak in favor of themselves. Just like the video we had last time about that, the speaker, their own concern is so long it's not affecting them. So long. Now, if they really, if this thing, I believe if you want to do things the right way, there's something you feel that will have positive effect on the people. You will go about it the right way. Right. This national anthem coming back, why adopt? My own concern has always been, why adopt the slave master's anthem? Now, see, all I can just say is that these people they are confused. They are confused because they are not even focusing on what Nigeria needs at the moment. If there are things to be changed, is it the national item? Change the fuel price, change whatever that is making Nigerians go broke, go. They say hungry man is an angry man. Nigerians are very hungry, and let me tell you, that anything can happen. Sometimes you see people go into taking advantage of a protest and whatever strike and all that because Nigerians are hungry. You talk about Nigerians are leaving the land, youth are leaving the country. What measures are they putting in place to ensure? Can you be in a good place and want to live there? Why are they always trying to find their way into the government house? Because of the benefits. Everybody want to find their way into the government house in all the states because of all the allocation and all the allowances and every benefit they are getting. So if Nigeria is conducive, if Nigeria is very good for Nigerian youth, what make you think they want to leave the country? So they are the reason why Nigerian youth are leaving the country.
The reason why I said he highlighted vital point is that people are always quick to spot the problem, and he rightly spotted the problem. But the problem is spotted is still not enough reason to revert to old national anthem. So he said Nigerians are not being patriotic. Do you know the number of people who served Nigeria with love, strength, and faith? While I was in primary school, I had a teacher who was around 90 years old in 2006. 90 years old, the man ought to have retired. He was still there because of the peanuts he was earning. He served Nigeria with love, with strength, and faith. Do you know that there are people who once believed in this country that this is a giant of Africa, but because of what is currently happening, they had no belief any longer in Nigeria. They all want to leave. These are people that would say, I am interested in my fatherland. I believe something will come out of this land for me. So he highlighted something very vital. But obviously, the ones who are not abiding by what the line by line of what the anthem is saying is still our leaders. Because if we come back to it, I've always been of the opinion that the national anthem should be something that will motivate people.
Sure.
Should be something that will cause Nigerians to arise wherever they are. It should be something that will swell Nigerians' head and push them to come back to the country.
Sure.
It is something that will make even Nigerians in Nigeria to say, I believe in this country and I'm not leaving this land. When Alex Oti did his thing in Abia State, we had Nigerians who hail from Abia State. They wanted to come back. Why? Because of the developments in Abia State. Now, the fact that there's a development in Abia State does not stop the fact that petrol price is very expensive. When they come back, they're going to be spending more. So light is not enough reason for them to come back because the whole umbrella that is covering Abia State is not enough to sustain them. So this man highlighted vital point, but it is not for Nigerians to come and say that Nigerians are patriotic.
Yeah.
We still have Nigerians that are patronizing Nigerian-made products.
Sure.
How many of our leaders are using Innocent car?
Sure.
How many of them are not using Toyota? You have always been of the opinion that Nigeria, like earlier, you mentioned the tires, that is the wheels of their vehicles. The money they use, they spend on those wheels. The money they spend on cars. The money they spend on expensive gadgets. This money is something that when you break it down, every Nigerians will have access to basic things of life.
Certainly.
The coastal highway you mentioned, they gave it to a foreign-owned company. The company is not owned by Nigerians. So the ones who are truly not being patriotic here is our leaders.
Surely.
And the fact that they even reverted to an old national anthem, it means that they are taking us back to the days of old. And Nigerians are saying, if you want to take us back to the days of old, you want us to be singing the old anthem, then bring back the old lifestyle. Let things go back to the way it used to be. Once upon a time, $1 to Naira was 50 Naira. So if they are bringing back the old anthem, then we should go back to the things that we were benefiting
And these
in
things
those
are very
days.
possible. They are very, very possible. If they really want to do these things. Okay, I stumbled on a story on the amount. I don't know what came about this money spent on the reverting to the old national anthem. About 814 billion for just to come to take back this old. Is it? I don't know. And I began to ask: was the money paid to the person that composed the national anthem, or what was this money? 814 billion just for this adoption of this new national, new have been old. We don't even know the one to call it. It's confusing, right? So these people, they, for anything they do or they are trying to tell us they have done, we see huge sum, being pushed to it. For what purpose? Our leaders or people who people, the word leadership is meant for people who are actually serving. Leaders are servants, right? But these people, they are serving their own self. They are serving, they are there for their own interests.
Yeah.
Most of them, their children are. He's talking about people living the country. Our leaders, how many of them have their children in Nigeria? How many of our leaders have their children schooling in Nigeria?
No, I'm actually still coming back to that because
as a matter of fact, him himself, if we should check his own family, are there not people, his own children, his own siblings, are they all in Nigeria? So when you, just like you said, if you are talking about not being patriotic, they are the one not being patriotic. Because Nigeria, we have so many people. I have seen people that will tell you Nigeria is super rich. That I can't leave this country for anything. Even if I'm leaving this country, it should be for holidays. Because they believe that we have things in Nigeria. Nigeria is a good place. What we have is just wrong leadership. So the problem we're having is not the people, but the leaders. So I think that thing in the other way around, I believe he knows. He knows that he was actually talking to himself and this.
So their new old new national
It's confusing,
anthem.
very confusing.
Their old new national anthem that they reverted to. The last stanza was saying, "Oh God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed." He was saying that we are not doing what the old national anthem is saying. Let's see if they will do what the new national, because the new national anthem is saying that we must build a nation where no man is oppressed. Are Nigerians not oppressed? Nigerians are currently oppressed. I was expecting that as soon as they change the old anthem, as soon as they bring back the old anthem, then it's going to be prices of fuel change drastically. Then we can see that Nigerians are no longer oppressed. We want to see that as subsidy is gone, we are going to Nigeria is now doing this and doing that. All Nigerians have access to this facility, that facility. There's job opportunity. Then Nigerians are no longer oppressed.
We are talking about oppression. Nigeria not being oppressed. Just a day strike, which is under legal process. There is already a threat of 6 months jail. This thing, as far as I'm concerned, is following due process.
Exactly.
And you already just for one day, you're already threatening the people. And you talk about not being oppressed. They are guilty of everything. Everything they are doing is not in alignment with what both the new and the old national anthem. They are not living in alignment with what the attempts are saying.
So he has no explanation. As vital as his point is, it is still falling back on them. So we are ending with a video where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said the old anthem, my priority. Let's hear from him.
All God has put us together. There's no doubt that we are going to be one. Let me allude to something, the change of national anthem. Some people say what? Is that your priority? It's my priority. I agree with the National Assembly. If they make law, I got to obey that law, or we disagree openly and close the chapter. But the question of diversity, who gave us the name Nigeria? Is it not Britain? Have we changed our name? We are Nigerians. Our passport shows that. As long as we are Nigerians and one family, we remain and protect our diversity and love one another as brothers and sisters. The question of who you are, you have no control over it. It is God Almighty that put you in that particular place and make you a member of that family. You have no control over it.
Sincerely, our president is supposed to be a pastor because he has just motivated us. But I want to hear from you very quickly as we wrap up the show.
When our dear president said reverting to the old new national anthem is his priority, he proved it because he achieved it within his 1 year in office.
Yeah.
All right, and I want to link this thing to many of his words. This national anthem was written when Nigeria was under slavery,
Oh, God has
and
put
now then I believe there were things Nigerians were not having access to then, and the kind of life of not being free. Nigerians now, he has been able to suppress, compress. I don't know another word to use.
Press.
Nigerians are under oppression by the government currently. All right, so I'm sure he has his reason. Now he has been able to collect the purchasing power he promised. He has been able to Nigeria is being sucked now by the government. So I think this anthem, this new old anthem is actually aiding his vision. I'm sure it is in alignment with his own vision, not the vision of Nigerians. Because I don't know. Is it possible for you to just imagine that you want to buy something for your child or for your sibling, and you are showing that person this? I want to buy this thing for you, and that person is telling you, "I don't like this thing." Will you insist on buying it for them, even though you are the one to buy it? No, that is what we see playing out in Nigeria. What what economical benefit does this thing have on Nigeria currently now? What is the benefit? Because I believe if there's anything that should receive attention, it should be things that are affecting Nigeria, things that Nigerians are complaining. There has never been any complaint that why Nigeria is undergoing what is undergoing now is because of the national anthem. I think we need to change it. Nigerians has never come out to say that we have problem with the old national anthem. So why looking into that angle? What effect is it going to positive effect is it going to have on the management of Nigeria? All right, we have the case of this there've been a time in this country that let me not mention that because it was not under their administration. The Nigerians have been crying over so many things that could just within 48 hours receive their intervention, but there has not been intervention. So why reverting to the item that has no benefits? You and I are not benefiting from it, except if they have their own benefit. Of course, the money that was spent on it, of course, was not shared to Nigerians. It was not shared to Nigerians. So I see no reason except that it is in alignment with his own personal vision for Nigeria. All right. But to me, I see no importance of this, of changing to the old national anthem. I see no importance of it to Nigerians, to the welfare of the people, to the new hope, the renewed hope he promised Nigeria. I see no effect, no importance
Exactly.
on it.
The truth is, there are more important things to discuss right now. We are not even supposed to be discussing national anthem.
At all.
That is the truth, because there are more vital things to be concerned about.
Insecurity is there.
There are things we have to be, eating on back to back. But because it is our country, it is the national symbol in quote. It is a reason why we are still deliberating on it. And the Mr. President has always been giving us punchline. Last year it was subsidy was gone. This year it is new national anthem. Only God knows what is coming up next year. But really, we have an administration that listens to the plight of our citizen, but is not willing to proffer solution to the plight of the citizen. And right now, the only hope that Nigerians are looking at right now is NLC for this fight to go beyond the minimum wage, extended to other vital things that ought to be discussed, that ought to be talked about beyond increasing the minimum wage. Because the truth is that Nigerians are hungry and Nigerians are angry. So this is all that we can take on this segment of newspaper review right here at Prime Media TV. Before we leave the studio, we'd like that you follow us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, we're Prime Media TV. On Instagram and TikTok, we are Prime Media Studios. On the website where you're currently watching us, we are enginespeak.com. You can do all to follow us on YouTube at Engine Speak. I am Ayo. Till I come your way again tomorrow, do have a great day.